Hey guys, welcome back to Screen Queen Stream. Y'all know me, I'm Jessica Cameron. If you don't know the lovely lady sitting over to my left, allow me to introduce you to the Shriekfest founder and a talented actress in her own right, Miss Denise Gossett. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I just attended the Shriekfest 19th annual horror film festival, which is amazing. To do anything for 19 years in 2019 is just such a feat in and of itself. So congratulations.
Thank you. And crazy too, right? It's crazy.
Oh my God, it's completely crazy. So let's talk about the festival. Like, what got you into doing an indie horror festival in Los Angeles, California? And also, side note, if you don't live in LA, what you might not realize is we really don't have a lot of great genre film festivals. We have a lot of great genre events, but of all the places to sort of have a couple good ones, it's strange to me that it's in Hollywood. So I have to assume it's incredibly difficult. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it to make money.
Right. Well, yeah, film festivals are kind of known to not be pulling in the bucks. I think the people that start film festivals thinking they're going to get rich are very quickly surprised that is not the case. But so 20 years ago, I had starred in a horror film, and I wanted
Which
them...
one? Oh, do we not want to mention it?
It's not very good. But back then I was like, oh my God, my first feature. So I had started it, and I was begging the director and producer, please, 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 let's put it in festivals. Let's do something with it. And they said there's no festivals that cater to horror. And I was like, how is this possible? So I start doing a little research, and sure enough, I can't find any. So I tell my sister-in-law my idea, and she's like, let's do it. So we wanted to do it by Halloween. I always say naivete will take you far because, man, what we didn't know didn't stop us. So we threw it together in 2 months. We had 45 submissions, which is really quite remarkable for our first year in 2 months. And after that festival, it blew up. So we knew immediately this was something that was necessary and needed. Since then, my sister-in-law, Kimberly Beeson, had a baby and ended up moving back to Michigan, but her heart is still with us. And my husband helped for a while, and then I let him retire. And now it's all me again.
So I have to assume this is pretty much every day, all year long process.
Yes. In the beginning, it would be... you'd have maybe 6 months where, it's just little things, and then it was slammed. Now it's like, I will be getting emails from people asking, when does call open already? Before the week's over, I will be getting those emails. And I'll be like, oh my God, give me a break. And Shriekfest Orlando is November 2nd, so that's coming up.
So it's just a constant go, 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 go.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Now, how long has the Orlando one been going? Because that's a newer edition.
It is. This is the 3rd year.
Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, does that not make you the only film festival with 2 separate screening locations?
As far as I know, we're the only bi-coastal horror film festival.
That's really exciting. So essentially, if selected, the films get to show at not 1 but 2 festivals effectively.
Yes.
In 2 different markets.
Yes, for 1 entry fee.
That's phenomenal.
Yep.
Like, legitimately. And also, I do want to shout out the fact that we have a trade. This is independent filmmaking at its finest. I'm just going to call that out because I'm like, what is that? It's like not a proper trade noise. It's like a little baby trade noise.
There's my ride.
Bye. But also, your fees are very reasonable. I don't know how closely you pay attention to other festivals. As a filmmaker, I do, and it is shocking how many of these festivals that have been around for a year or 2 are charging like $90, $95, $100 to $120 a summit. It's ridiculous.
Don't submit to those.
Oh yeah, no,
that's
it's
crazy.
Completely absurd.
What are they thinking?
But they have to get people. Like logically, they have to have people submit, right?
Yeah, or you can't survive. Yeah. Oh, what are they doing? Oh my gosh. No. My first thought is independent filmmakers. They don't have a lot of money to begin with. Got to make sure I cover my bills, but don't want to gouge the filmmakers. It's just like I keep hearing about these film festivals that you have to pay money to attend the award show. You have to pay to find out if you won? That's insane.
Oh, it's completely ridiculous, for the record. And some of them, again, are like, I heard of one that I will not mention by name, mainly because I'm not 100% positive the name of it, although I know who runs it. That being said, it was like $250 a ticket. A ticket.
Oh my, no food is that good.
No! If they even have food.
Right. And I would say, well...
Like this festival in particular, when I did attend like their screenings, they were like an hour and 10 minutes late on everything.
Oh yeah, no, that's really, really bad. Hopefully they go under. Quit submitting to those kind of festivals, people.
Well, but that's also research, and we'll get into that in just a second. What was it that prompted you to start the second arm of Orlando Shriekfest?
Well, I am bi-coastal now, so... And I grew up in Orlando, and I have a lot of friends there and family, and I kept thinking they might enjoy it. You know, it's very, very different, because in LA, you've got industry attending, you've got fans. In Orlando, it's only fans.
That's fun, though.
Yes, and so introducing them to this kind of horror is amazing. You know, they're used to big studio movies, and they come out and they're like, wow, these are better. I go, I know. That's what the studios don't realize, but they will soon.
It's a process.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about film festivals, specifically genre festivals. I get a lot of questions as a filmmaker, so I have to assume you get so many questions from filmmakers about best practices and policies. So why don't you share, like, if you had to give a top 5 tips to filmmakers on submitting their genre film to festivals, what would you say to do?
I would say research the festivals, because maybe your film isn't exactly right for that festival. I would say talk to other filmmakers, specifically ones who have been to that festival. I would say read the reviews. Film Freeway has a way to review, although there's some flaws with that system, because I was recently at a festival and it was horrid, and the director gave a bad review, and the festival director contacted him and asked him to take it down.
Yep.
So
I've seen like the bad festivals will prompt like the people that they treat really well, even though it's a poorly run festival, to like give a good review. And I'm like, just because you told somebody how amazing they are, kiss their butt, doesn't warrant a good review.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. So I would definitely talk to other filmmakers, other writers, figure out which ones are right. Another thing I would look at is, when is their cutoff date compared to their actual festival? If their cutoff date's in July and their festival's August 1st, are they giving your projects the attention they deserve?
Or the festival the attention it deserves.
Right.
Like, there needs to be a gap to get all the ducks in a row.
Exactly. See, like, our final cutoff is July 10th, and our festival isn't usually till the first week of October. It was September this year due to a scheduling issue at Raleigh. But yeah, you need that much time to get through all the submissions and to get your ducks in order, like you said.
Well, yeah, like, and booking locations and making sure who's going to be there and giving hotel discounts.
Right.
All of those details take time and effort.
Yeah.
Okay, any other tips?
Follow the directions. That is a big one. People just, sometimes you can just tell they're just submit. They click that little button and submit, and they're not even paying attention to what the rules are or anything like that. So read the rules. They're not the same for every festival.
I love that. I say a lot of the same thing, except I've never thought about the duration between the final submission and the film festival. That is brilliant advice. Absolutely brilliant, because it makes so much sense hearing you say it. I keep track of everything in a Google Doc that's alphabetized and color-coded.
Do that too.
Yeah, because what I like about a Google Doc is, first of all, you can share access. So let's just say you have a producer that's joining you. You can share access with them, and then you can revoke that access. And you can also, it automatically keeps track of the edit history. So let's just say you're like, oh, I don't know what this person did. You could just look back on the edit history. It's easy. But then also, you can assess it from anywhere. So you just log into Gmail. Right, yeah. Which is really nice. So let's just say you're in Spain at a festival and you don't have your laptop with you. You can go into an internet cafe. And then again, like, I think people get very intimidated, but if you just start doing it, it becomes habit. And again, like, it takes 5 to 6 minutes to properly, because I have a template, and the template has like who I know that's submitted, anything they have said, and whenever I talk to people, I'll like literally update my phone and then make the note on the list. Spoke to so and so on this date. Here's what they said about this, and what you start to see is patterns, which I think is really helpful, but also to make sure that you're using your money, because not all genre festivals are also created equal.
Yeah.
You know, with my first film, Truth or Dare, was really torturous, and there are some festivals that just don't like that. It's like they want the more highbrow horror, if you want to call it that, or like, you know, less gory, more paranormal or more surrealism, which is fine, and I don't care. I'd much rather just know so I don't spend my, you know, $60.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I think keeping track and talking to filmmakers is so useful.
Yes, and I love that you are writing all that down, because I'll call filmmakers and accept them, and they'll say things like, well, when is it again? I just want to go, why don't you have a calendar that says, like, I submitted here, here's the festival dates, like, just keep track. And I would not submit to multiple festivals that are around the same time. How would you attend? So pick and choose of where you're submitting and log it out, like you said.
Well, I'll like pick and choose like the best one that my film is a good fit for in that area. Because like I know too, like I personally can't afford to attend all the festivals that are super far away. I do think you should try to attend any of the bigger, better ones in the country you're in, without question. But international gets really expensive.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like you gotta pick and choose. It gets really, really hard. But then that way too, also like you have all the information down there. And I also keep like social media handles. I keep website notes. Also like, because some festivals start out kind of shitty and then they get better. But I'll make a note to be like, on this date, checked at the website, it's not up to par, chose not to submit, and that's why. So I'm not saying like I'll hold it against the festival for forever. But at the same time, you know, and also I find like with LA too, like why would you, I hear a lot of the time where people are like, I submitted to like 7 film festivals in LA. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, like the mainstream LA one isn't going to take you. Like the lowest budget film they've taken is $5 million and you made a really great $50,000 film. So that's a waste of a submission. Like if a festival has never played a low budget anything ever.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, you might have Paranormal Activity, but like if you don't have the Blair Witch Project or Paranormal or one of those rare exceptions,
right,
you're just giving your money away, right? Like, and what I love about you is that you promote Shriekfest as the indie horror festival, which is really what that is. You don't screen studio films.
Nope.
I have to assume that you don't take them.
Nope.
You don't promote for them.
Nope.
Like, you cannot be bought. You are unavailable for purchase. Like, you are all about the indie. So for me, I'm like, that's so helpful. Because again, I know like, when I tell people to submit to festivals, which ones, I'm like, that's so crucial. Because the reality of the matter is, whether we don't want to believe it as filmmakers, there is a difference between a $5 million movie and a $50,000 one.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. I think the benefits are even cooler. You know, the fact that you don't have a team of execs watering it down or telling you can't do stuff.
More creativity.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But, like, there's still a difference. So I think that that's really, really valuable information.
Yes, and studio films don't need any more attention.
Nope.
It's the little guys and girls, right? They're the ones that need the attention. They're the ones that are putting their heart and soul and their blood and their tears into the film. They need the recognition, not these studio films.
So what would be some advice on things not to do? Since now these are the tips, these are what you should do. Now let's talk about what's not to do.
Okay. Well, this is kind of a to-do, but it's because I'm sick of the... Look at your emails. Okay, especially once you've been accepted. Read your emails. Please do what I ask. It's simple. It's easy. There won't be any issues. I cannot tell you how many times I will send it. Okay, here's what I need. And I get an electronic press kit. Please. There are 88 of you guys in my festival and one of me. I'm not going to search through your whole EPK to find the information I need for the website or the program. So please, I just ask for a short little thing. Just answer those for me, please. So follow directions, answer emails, do things in a timely manner. I give cutoffs, but yet I'll still receive posters and films way after the cutoff. Don't make me chase you down. It's just business. I find out so many people are great at the creative, but then the business side is, we need a whole package, guys. And if you're going to have a career in this industry that's going to keep flourishing and growing, you need both. So if you can't do it, make sure you have someone on your team who does handle it well.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And you hit the nail on the head, because also I look too, if you can't handle the deliverables for a festival, then you're going to have a hard time when it comes to distribution.
Exactly.
Because some of those deliverables are like a full-time job for a month.
Exactly. Or if you get hired by a studio to do something big, they're going to expect things out of you that you better be able to bring.
So, any other advice on what not to do or how not to behave?
Not to behave. Don't be too needy. You would not believe the things I get asked. And sometimes I just will ignore it. Because I'm like, what? I cannot believe you just asked that. It's simple. It's really simple. I love filmmakers. I love you guys. And all I ask is just answer the questions. Do what I need you to do. Don't ask for extra favors. Don't try to butter me up. It's not going to make you the winner. I have judges that help me do all this. So just little things like that.
But I'm sure you get a lot of those little things. And when you get 100 little things, that adds up.
Yes, it does. At one point, I had 300 some emails that needed something done with each one. And so every time I'd get down 20, I was like, oh, hallelujah. Like I was slowly getting there. Because it is so much work. And I know it doesn't seem like how much work could it possibly be. You get their film and you put it in. No, it's so much.
Well, how many submissions did you receive this year? Do you know?
You know what? I haven't even added it up yet. What I do know, because I got submissions from Film Freeway and Without a Box, and then some come in the mail and some come via email. But what I do know is there were 300 short films in the yes pile. That I do know, because we had to narrow it down to 38.
Wow.
And it was miserably hard because there were so many good ones that had to be rejected.
300. That is a lot.
Yeah.
It's so funny, too. I hear a lot of the time short filmmakers still thinking that, like, somebody's going to gift them their, like, $10 million to make a feature. And I always remind them, I'm like, I don't think you quite realize how many short films are made. Like,
I know. And that was the yes pile. Mm-hmm. It is remarkable.
So they're all great.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to cause one person to get plucked out of that pile or the other? It's honestly, I think a lot of the time, like, for as far as jobs go, it's just luck.
It kind of is. It's so subjective because, you know, let's say you have 200 that all got straight 10s across the board from every one of my judges. How do you pick? Mm-hmm. So then it comes down to little things like, okay, well, do we have too many vampire? Do we have too many, whatever it may be? You don't want to have the whole festival be all vampire films, right? So you want a selection. What's the length? There were a lot of long shorts this year.
Ooh, let's talk about that really
quickly.
So what is your opinion on the length of a short film?
Ideally, I'm not saying we don't accept anything bigger than this, but ideally, 15 minutes and under.
Which is very common. The reason why I like to talk about it openly is I feel like people don't research it until they don't get accepted, and then they're like, oh crap.
Right. Well, through the years, I have talked to many a filmmaker that submitted this great film, and it was 25 minutes. And I'll call them up, and I risk them, hating me, but I'll say, listen, you're not going to get much traction on this because it's hard to program a 25-minute film, unless it's amazing. Like I said, we do. I've programmed, I think, 6 or 7 this year that were that long. So I tell them, why don't you revisit it and cut it again? And often they listen, call me up, and they'll go, oh my God, you were right. I just got into a bunch of festivals. So sometimes it's that simple. If you've got, it's shot great, it's acted great, you've got a good story, sometimes just tightening it up will do it.
Well, and at the end of the day, like all of the 300 that were yeses were all yes to all of those aspects.
Yes.
So I think any time that you could deal with a technicality thing, like a time, and to help you further your odds, if it's possible. Obviously, I know there's some stories where it's just not.
Right.
But if it is possible, you're better off to do it. I know as like a filmmaker, I'm like, yes, whatever I need to do, just tell me. It'll be fine.
I know it's hard because, maybe that particular spot you shot all day. You spent all this money on this location and you love it, so you feel like you got to keep it in. If it doesn't move the story forward, cut it out. I know it's hard. It's your baby and you don't want to edit it. But I can tell you the success that will come if you have a very tight film.
I completely concur. That's really, again, also great advice. So you mentioned you had 38 shorts that screened. How many features screened?
10.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of content.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of filmmakers to be wrangling.
And then there's 40 screenwriter finalists. So 88 people I'm dealing with. And more if you start counting producers, directors, all the people that contact me from the films.
What is your advice for screenwriters submitting? Because I have to assume it's a very different world.
Yes. Rewrites. Proof those scripts. I can't tell you how often I'll look at the first page and there's typos.
And that has to, I think for any, whether you want it to affect your judgment of that project, it's affected the judgment.
I know, it's hard. I tell my judges, do not count off for typos. But if it's like almost every page, of course we have to count down.
Yeah.
Because that's just a given.
But it's also like, it's got to take you out of the script.
It does.
Every time.
It does. Because I'll see a word misspelled and I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. It does stop you for a moment and you go, ugh. So little things like that. Make sure it's in proper format. Make sure it's, ideally a horror film, 90 pages. Let's not go 2 hours. I can't tell you, I got some scripts that were 140 pages. That's absurd, you guys. Cut it down. I mean, even if the story's amazing, 140 pages are really long. Same with the features. I got 2-hour features this year. And the sad thing, they were good. But if they had been tighter, they would have been in.
Yeah, and they potentially could have been really great.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's something a lot of people really struggle with because they're so close to the material.
Yes.
So if you can get an outside opinion that you love and trust to tell you.
Which is hard because, everyone's like, oh, it's the best thing you've ever done,
Well, that's the other thing that I've seen, is whatever you do, the people that know and love you are going to tell you it's great.
Yeah.
Right. So having somebody who doesn't love you or know you that well, but is really good at that thing that you want to get better at, whether it be screenwriting or filmmaking, is good advice. Mm-hmm. Let them critique it because they don't love you. So they'll hopefully give you an honest answer that will make you better at your job.
Exactly. And it's hard because I'll do a film and the director will ask my opinion. And I'm like, do you really want it? Do you want it as a festival director? And if they say yes, but you know what? I've learned my lesson. I do not tell the truth.
No, I was going to say never.
Yeah, because they take it wrong.
They never want to hear it. Nope. Even if they tell you that they're ready to hear it, they're not. Nope. Smile and nod. Not my job. I'm not my job.
Exactly.
Sorry, hired hand.
Exactly. It's so sad. And I try to do it in a loving way. But no, they take it wrong.
Nope. Which is sad, because it could be so much better if they just did.
Right. I've got 19 years of experience. Take my advice.
So how many people combined roughly make up the team that is Shriekfest behind the scenes? Well, you're the face, obviously.
Right.
But there's, hopefully, you're not the only one reading all these thousands of submissions.
No, I do get judges. I have judges that help out, and those change every year. And they can be past people, people that have been in the festival in the past. It could be production companies. It could be agents. So all my judges are a mix of everything. I have someone that does the website. I have helpers at the festivals, volunteers. But way too much of it is me. Way too much. And it's really getting difficult. I had to turn down 3 acting jobs this year because they were during the same week of Shriekfest.
Oh. Thank you guys so very much for joining us, Denise. Thank you very much for coming on this show.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for part 2, which we are going to be releasing soon, where you can get more information and learn more about this exciting woman and everything that you've got your hands and horror mitts all over. Don't forget to like button down below and also subscribe. I produce new videos over here on this channel every single week. 10 billion bonus points if you join the Patreon, where you can get signed swag, Google Hangouts, early access to videos, and a bunch of other cool stuff.